Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope you're all doing well. This cold and frosty Thursday afternoon or morning for most of you. Right, this was a false alarm. Totally a false alarm. However, it's worth noting anyway. So this is going to be super quick, super quick. But it gives me an opportunity to test this new thing that StreamYard and YouTube are doing now, that they allow you to dual stream. So this stream is actually going out on 2 platforms. It's weird. Like, it's allowing me to live stream in landscape mode and in portrait mode as well. So some of you are watching it vertically. I assume that's if you're watching it on your phone, it's going to look vertical. And I'm seeing 2 streams. It's bizarre. Anyway, I'm giving it a go. Anyway, right, what happened was I put a video out this morning and I went shopping because I got absolutely no food whatsoever in my house. So went shopping, came back, went on YouTube, got this message saying that my video had been removed, the video that I put up this morning before I went shopping, for cyberbullying, harassment and cyberbullying, which is nonsense. Anyhow, this was a message that I got. It looks like Turn Your Brother In is the new search for Summer Wells, the result of a bombshell tip from June. Didn't follow our community guidelines. We removed it from YouTube. We think your content violated our policy on personally identifying information. Content that shares, threatens to share, encourages others to share, non-public, personally identifying information isn't allowed on YouTube. This may include an individual's home address, email address, sign-in credentials, phone number, passport number, blah, 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 blah. You can see an example of it at the 3 minutes 30. Well, okay. What it gave me the opportunity to do was edit that little bit out that they find problematic, which I did. YouTube has a tool that allows you to do it. I did it, and within minutes, no, it's not a strike. No, it's not a strike. Do you remember in the early days of the Sebastian Rogers case, I had a problem with this? That I had, I don't know, 2 or 3 videos removed because of exactly this same thing. It was like word for word the same thing, like personally identifying information. And I wondered whether it was someone who was reporting my videos. But it just stopped, and I've not done anything different when I talk about Sebastian Rogers. I still talk about his street, and I talk about Kelly Lane and blah, blah, blah. So I think this is all automated. I don't think it's anyone who's actually reporting my videos. I think this is automated because YouTube has admitted that they made a mistake. So within minutes of me submitting the edits, I got this. Now, look, it's not enough time for a human to actually listen to the video and review it, because it was less than 12 minutes. The video is about 12 and a half minutes long, and it was less than 12 minutes. So I put the edits in, submitted it for review. It was uploaded, and in less than 12 minutes, I got this message saying that the video had been put back. So I think it's the AI tools, the AI things that makes loads of mistakes, that has made a mistake here. And that's the only thing I can conclude. We reviewed your edited version of Turn Your Brother In is the new search for Summer Wells, result of bombshell tip from June. And it looks like it follows our community guidelines. We put it back on YouTube. Thanks for taking the time to edit your video and working with us to help keep YouTube protected. So the video is back. For those who want to know which video it is, it was this one. 2,500 of you watched it beforehand, but it's right here. There is a little bit that I took out, I don't know, I took out maybe 30 seconds of it, thinking, all right, maybe this is the issue. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see whether it takes it down again. I guess, who knows? Who knows? But it's up. It's back. It's back. So it was all a big false alarm, all a big, much to do about nothing. It was all done. And I think it's just YouTube's AI that's got its knickers in a knot about addresses. I think the problem has been, let me just show you, until the area where it may have been problematic. Right, this is Lloyd Paul Hill, right? And he is not the same Paul Hill that is living at the address. I'm not going to give the number, God, because that might be the problem, on Van Hill Road that has been raided. It's not the same guy. This guy on your screen was born way before the Paul Hill. Like, this guy's in his 50s. Paul Hill, who lives at Van Hill, the house that's been raided, is in his 80s. And he doesn't have a son called Lloyd Paul Hill. And as far as I know, this Lloyd Paul Hill is from Kentucky. The reason why he's on the Tennessee SO register is because his offences were committed in Tennessee way back when. Like, they're not recent offences. They're horrible offences, but they're not recent ones. But he's now living in Kentucky. So it's not the same guy. And as far as I know, he is not related to the Hills that are relevant to the Summer Wells case. As far as I know, this guy is not related to Fred Hill, not related to Andy Bernard, not related to Paul Hill, not related at all. As far as I know, I mean, maybe there's a distant relationship, who knows? But Hill is a very common surname. It's a very common surname in my country. Right, I've got a friend with the surname Hill. I went to school with two people whose surname was Hill, unrelated to the other person. So it's a very common surname, right? And I'm assuming it's going to be a common surname in Tennessee as well as here in the UK. So it doesn't mean to say that all Hills are related. I guess if you have a really, really uncommon surname, then the chances of somebody being related is increased. If you've got a really common, a really unusual surname, I should say. But anyhow, it can't be this, because this is still on the video and they've approved it. But I did take out a little bit after this where I talked about Paul Hill and I gave the address on Van Hill. So I think it's possibly that the YouTube AI bot has heard the address, he's heard a name and heard the address complete with like the number of it, and it's freaked out. So I think that's possibly why the video got flagged. But it's fine, it's all up and running, and it's you can go and watch it. You can go and watch it in its entirety. Let me just take a moment to appreciate the sky. When I went out early this morning, the sky was absolutely magnificent. The camera footage here does not do it justice. It was absolutely magnificent. It was a beautiful sunrise this morning. So let's just take a moment to appreciate the fact that the sunrise was glorious this morning. It was very cold. It was very cold. It's like -3 overnight. And she's like, what, 31, 32 degrees Fahrenheit. But anyway. This is important, though. While I'm here, while I've got your attention, I might as well just point this out. It's in the video, but might as well just point this out, that I've been wondering whether, and I know I'm not the only person who's wondering this, I'm wondering whether this new tip, this new search, this new raid on the address at Van Hill, given that the landowner, Paul Hill, is in his 80s, I'm wondering whether it's to do with his two sons. Now, that doesn't mean to say that I'm saying that his sons abducted and murdered Summer Wells. I'm not saying that at all. We don't know. But I'm wondering whether the tip is related to those sons because of what Jason Jensen posted in June. And if you remember, back in June, I made a video about this. What you're seeing on your screen right now is from my video back in June. I've got your attention. Very good, very good, very good. I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear it. Oh dear, glad to hear it. Who've we got here? Oh, Lolly, been a member for 36 months, 3 whole years. And we've also got Link, who's been a member for 45 months. That's crazy. You must be one of my oldest members. Daughter of Scotland, I think, is my oldest member. When her updates come on, you can tell she's been there a long time. Anyhow, Jason Jensen, back in June, made a video about it, said that he'd got a tip from an anonymous caller from Rogersville who didn't trust the police and only trusted him. So obviously seen maybe Jason Jensen on Court TV or wherever he appears. Jason Jensen is a PI. He's a licensed PI. He's not licensed in Tennessee. Holly, been a member for 35 months, nearly 3 years. Good. Slow movers if it was the Jensen tip. Yeah, I agree. But it's just a thought. It's just a thought. I mean, look, 5 months ago, maybe it takes them that long to investigate. Who knows what's been going on, right? Who knows what's been going on? Everything seems to be slow in Tennessee. Sasha, been a member for 44 months. Down Under with Love, member for 38 months. It's crazy, you guys. You've been supporting me for that long. But yeah, received a tip from someone that they didn't trust it with anyone else. Thank you, sir. So obviously it's a guy, for your trust in me and for the tip on Summer Wells. Stay tuned. And nothing happened. This is the thing. Nothing happened. He posted more, though. He posted more. He put, because of this sudden involvement in the Summer Wells case, I've decided to expedite my pursuit of a PI agency and PI license in Tennessee. A burglary turned abduction. So somebody went to burgle the house and decided to take Summer instead. I don't know. And then this, I think this is the most interesting thing. I know what you did. Turn your brother in and they will go easy on you. You can remain anonymous. Call me. And this is not about Summer's brothers. And the thing here. Hey, you know I have your name. Confess where she is. So, I don't know. It may be completely coincidental. It may be that Jensen was talking about two other brothers. It's just intrigued me that these two brothers are registered at that address, or at least have been in the recent past. One of them, I think, owns property close by. It's just interesting. It's interesting. It's got my cogs turning. And I know I'm not the only one, because I've had comments on yesterday's video that have kind of broached this subject as well. So I think it's one of those where it's watch this space. Watch this space. I mean, I wouldn't play too much. I wouldn't think too much of the fact that it was 5 months ago, because they'd have had to get a warrant for that property on Van Hill. And it obviously involves the feds. So you've got a lot of agencies that need to come together, and they've got to develop the probable cause to get a warrant. So maybe the investigation that's been going on behind the scenes, maybe it has taken that long. We don't know, because the TBI don't tell us anything, and we're certainly never going to get anything from the feds. But because the TBI is so close lipped, we have to speculate, and I don't know. Maybe, given the amount of agencies involved, maybe it has taken this long. Maybe the tip, came in, was completely, the cops were completely oblivious to these people and had to start from scratch doing an investigation into them. I don't know. So until we know more, it's very much watch this space. But I've been very pleased, and I think everybody who's been following Summer's case has been very pleased that at least there is some movement, even if nothing comes of this. At least, in the immediate, time frame, if nothing comes of this immediately, at least it shows that there are viable tips coming in, and the cops are actually doing stuff. I'd love to see the discovery. The discovery that is tagged onto the Summer Wells case. I bet it's a fascinating read. But I have to go wait and see. T-Love, member for 45 months. Whoop, whoop. It's a long time to jump on a tip. Again, it's maybe the cogs of law enforcement do grind very slowly. I mean, look at the Michael Vaughan case. Look at how long that's gone on. The 4 suspects, 2 of whom have now been charged, were named by Fruitland PD at the press conference on the 1st of December 2022. And it's almost 3 years later. We're now in November of 2025. And only now have Stacey and Sarah Wanderer been arrested. Because there's no body. They were hoping to have Michael's body. So it's similar to Summer's case in that respect, that there's no body. There's no actual, concrete physical evidence that she's dead. And it's the same with Michael. There's no concrete evidence that he's dead. They believe he is. They've got evidence to suggest he is, but it's circumstantial. It's to do with Stacey's confession. It's to do with the ground penetrating radar showing anomalies underground in the location that Stacey said Michael's body was buried at. And 5 different cadaver dogs alerting in that same location. So all of that is very telling, but it is circumstantial. They don't actually have the physical evidence of Michael's body being buried there. So no-body homicides, I mean, they're difficult. They've got to tie up a lot of things to show a jury that the person that the accused is being accused of is actually deceased, and it takes a minute. So I'm not going to think too much of the fact that if this is the tip that they're following up on has taken 5 months. I'm not going to read too much into it at the moment, because developing the probable cause for an address that may never have been on the radar at all, with people who've never been on the radar at all, maybe takes a minute. So, yeah. Tina, member for 37 months. CW, member for 25 months. You're a newbie in comparison. Yeah. 25 months and you're a newbie. Yeah, it's fine. It's back. It's back. It's back. It's back. It's back. The sky was beautiful this morning. Absolutely beautiful. Kimberly gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much. I haven't got my computer set up, my other computer, so I don't know who got them. So welcome to the 5 people who were gifted memberships. Thank you, Kimberly. And if you are a new member, never been a member before, go and check out the members area. We've got some stuff in the members area. We've got quite a bit. I mean, look, it is suspicious. Two brothers, tree trimming service, Toyota Tacoma, apparently, allegedly. I mean, Jensen put a photo of it on his Facebook. Again, this is in the video from this morning. So this is Jason Jensen's Facebook page. Now, there are a lot of people in the comments here saying that this isn't the right vehicle. So remember the sighting of the red Toyota Tacoma. Was this the correct vehicle? The owner of this vehicle sold his Tacoma in August 2022. Summer went missing June 2021. But people were saying in the comments that this has never had a ladder rack on it. But it could be that they've changed this bed liner. So they've completely revamped the back and taken the old liner out and put a new liner in. So there's a Toyota Tacoma connected with this tip, which is connected to 2 brothers, one of whom owns a tree trimming business. Now, what we don't know is that it was the tree trimmers. So the guys, Frank, what's his name? Frank Hill. We don't know whether his tree trimming business is the company that was trimming trees in Beech Creek on the day that Summer disappeared. Is it a coincidence? You know, some people say there's no such thing as coincidences. There are, but there'd be a lot of coincidences, wouldn't there, in this case? So we've got the tip in June with 2 brothers, you know, turn your brother in. We've got 2 brothers living at or close to the address that has just been raided. We've got a Toyota Tacoma that used to be owned by those people. And the Toyota Tacoma is red. And the red Toyota Tacoma has been a thing, in this case, almost since day one. That a delivery driver saw a Toyota Tacoma, like a unusual Toyota Tacoma. The only thing that's missing here is the ladder racks and the buckets. But again, they could have completely revamped the back of the vehicle. They could have taken the liner out. They could have taken everything out to make it look like not the one that the cops are looking for. And also, we've got a link with tree trimming. So it's interesting. Look, you've got to say it's interesting. It's really interesting. Oh, yeah, they had to have had probable cause, yeah. But think about it. If you're looking at an address that's never been on the radar before, you're looking at people that have never been on the radar before, you're basically starting your investigation from scratch. So the tip comes in from Jason Jensen, naming these 2 people. The cops have then got to start from scratch. You know, interview the person who gave the tip. Now, how it was an anonymous caller, Jensen said. Now, I don't know whether that's true or whether, you know, they'd have to find the person who gave the tip in the first place, from the person from Rogersville. They're going to have to start everything. It's basically starting the investigation all over again. So 5 months, actually, it makes sense when you look at it like that. But yeah, absolutely. You know, for the feds to turn up, you know, one of the locals said that there was about 15 Hawkins County Sheriff's Office cars part there. And then you've got the FBI, the TBI. They'd have had the whole forensic stuff out. They'd probably have cadaver dogs. They'd have a whole thing. And it's a large property. It goes right back into the mountain. It's a large property. Lots of outbuildings, lots of old vehicles, it looks like. Every one of those would have to be searched. So that's a lot of work. So the probable cause to have the feds out there would have to be, you know, reasonably substantial. Did they actually check a dwelling, or was it outside property only? We don't know. We don't know. I would assume it's the entire property. I'd assume that would also include like all the buildings and the vehicles and the house. I would assume so, but I don't know, because the first thing we heard was when it was announced by the news that TBI had given like a, you know, little statement, and Hawkins County Sheriff's Office aren't speaking. You know, the WJHL reporters actually went to Hawkins County Sheriff's Office and they couldn't get anybody to speak to them. So it's very hush-hush. So clearly there's something in this, you know, because this raid started on the 13th. So whether they're still out there, I mean, look, if you're in the area, do a drive-by. Could somebody just go and do a drive-by? 3500 block of Van Hill Road. If you're in the area, just go and do a drive-by and report back and tell us if there's activity out there. Because I would imagine that it would take more than a day to search that property, because it's big and there's a lot of outbuildings. Apparently it was a pig farm at one point. I don't know whether it still is. So, you know, there'll be pig pens. There's a lot. There's a pond as well. So they'd need divers to search the pond. There's a big pond, and whether they'll drain the pond. Look, it's going to take a minute to search all of that, if indeed they got the warrant to search the entire property, which includes all of the buildings. Without seeing the warrant, we don't know. I would imagine it's everything. The fact that the feds are there, I would imagine that they want to check everything. But it's come out of the blue. Absolutely out of the blue. Waiting for TBI update. Yeah. And look, I think if they'd searched it and, you know, they were just running down the tip, you know, they got this tip, they were doing, you know, their due diligence, and they run down this tip and there was nothing in it, I think it doesn't need to be a press conference, but I think, you know, Sheriff Ronnie Lawson may have given a statement saying, you know, it was a tip and the investigation remains ongoing and, you know, nothing's come of it, or something along those lines. So we haven't had that. And until we have that, then as far as I'm concerned, this is a live investigation, that this is a tip that's still live, that, you know, hasn't been run down and found to be not relevant. You know, there's no evidence that these people are involved. There's no evidence of Summer or any evidence relating to Summer on their property, and they can close that particular tip off. Until we get some kind of information like that, then this is a live and active investigation concerning this property and the people who live at this property. Now, as I said in my video this morning, it doesn't mean to say, even if there's evidence of Summer on that property, that it's the people who live there. It's a big property. Somebody could have hidden Summer's remains or evidence relating to her on that property without the property owner knowing. Consider that. So not only do the cops have to link Summer to that property, if they are going to make arrests, they're going to have to link the people also to that evidence, which I think will take somebody confessing, like Stacey Wanderer has. He's made incriminating statements. I think it's going to take somebody to make incriminating statements for this to move forward. And if the people who live at that property genuinely have nothing to do with the disappearance of Summer Wells, and it's just that the evidence has been hidden on their property, well, quite rightly, the cops shouldn't arrest them. So it's complicated. It's complicated. Yeah, we need a little bit more. Yeah. Why Cotton was where he was is not normal. I honestly believe she will be found. Yeah, this isn't relating to Cotton Simpson. This is entirely in the opposite direction to Cotton Simpson. Entirely. We're surprised that the property map you showed, it's the place someone would hide something. Well, the property itself, I'll just get Google Maps up. So it doesn't have my pins on it. But this is the property, and you can see how far it goes back. So there's a house, there's like barns and stuff. There's this thing. I don't know what this thing is. I don't know whether that may be the pig pen. I don't know. And it goes right the way back into the mountain. Like, I don't know how many acres this. I'm going to have to go on the Tennessee property thing and have a look. But there's this pond. But you can get to this property without going down the driveway. You can go down here, up there. So if somebody knows this property, they can, in the dead of night, climb up here and hide evidence on this property without the property owners knowing. So there's also that issue. I wasn't sharing. Sorry, guys. I'm always doing that. I mean, look how far back it goes. There's whatever this is, junk. Back up here. You've got this pond. You've got all these buildings. But you've got this other entrance here. So it's perfectly possible that somebody might have hidden evidence here, and the property owner knows nothing about it. Whether that be Paul Hill knows nothing about it, or all three of them. Paul Hill and the two sons don't know anything about it. There's a lot of unanswered questions. There's more questions than it gives answers. But again, this wasn't on anyone's radar. Like, I'd heard of Paul Hill. I knew Paul Hill from doing the Ancestry stuff. I knew that Fred's dad had a brother called Paul. And I knew that Paul had two sons. I've got it all on my Ancestry thing. So, hold on. Wait a moment. Gotta get the right tree. Yeah. All right. So here's Ben Hill. Had a bunch of kids. All right. So that's where Andy Bernard's line comes from. And then we've got Fred Hill. That's his line. That's Fred and his sisters. And then this is Paul Hill and his two sons. So I've had all of this in my ancestry tree on the Hill family for, I don't know, 3 years maybe. I don't know when I started doing all this. But they weren't on my radar. They weren't on anyone's radar, were they? They weren't on anyone's radar. So whether or not we've got, you know, I have your name, confess where she is from June, whether that's the first time the cops heard about Paul Hill and the address at Van Hill Road, we don't know. We don't know. Summer went missing only 5 to 6 weeks before Michael. Yeah, she did. June 15th, 2021 for Summer and July 27th for Michael. So yeah, about 6 weeks. Exactly. Me too. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, Adam Montgomery was convicted with no body. But you see, with the Adam Montgomery case, they had Kayla, who was able to testify, even though she wasn't the most crediblest of persons. She was able to testify against Adam. Plus, they had some DNA evidence. So they had the DNA evidence from the roof where Adam had stored her body for a while, like in a loft area in the room that they were staying in. So they had Harmony's DNA on a stain from that roof because the bag that he had her remains in was leaking. So they had some DNA evidence, some existence of it. They had the fridge that had some biological material in it. And without the confession, though, I don't think it would have been enough. Without Kayla Montgomery doing that confession, she got a deal, saying that she witnessed it and saying, everything that Adam had done. Without that, there wouldn't have been a case. There really wouldn't. So I think it will take somebody making incriminating statements for them to be able to move it on to the next step, which is drawing up charges. Thank you for the super sticker. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. I know, heartbreaking. It really is. Journey, member for 29 months. Whoop, whoop. Ernie Shell was live last night with breaking news. He was right. I haven't seen that. I don't know what that was. Not what that's about. Yeah, there was. I think so. There was, biological evidence in the drains. Ugh, doesn't bear thinking about. Yeah, it was the homeless shelter where there was DNA in the roof space where he'd put her body. And it's just absolutely vile because the bag was leaking. Yeah, can you imagine if Don and Candice have got nothing to do with this? Exactly. I've said for a long time that Summer was abducted. For the longest time, I've said Summer was abducted. My very first theory, out of the gate, when I first heard about this case, I thought abduction. When I learned more about the property, I thought, we're going to be difficult to abduct someone from this property, especially the fact that there's 2 adults and 3 other children and dogs on the property at the same time. So I moved away from abduction, and I thought, look, it has to be something to do with the family. This has to be. So for a few months, I went all in on the Summer Wells was sold theory. And it was only when I went back and reviewed everything again, and if people remember my coverage of Summer's case back in 2021, I did a little mini series called Truth in the Hills. And for about a week, I did, like each day, I did a different take on the case. So I did like a different theory. And it was only reviewing all of it, I think that was November 2021, that I thought, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that the parents know anything here. The best I could think of was maybe they have some knowledge. Maybe they have knowledge of who took her, or they believe they know who took her, but they're not saying because they're scared, or because there's drugs involved, or a debt involved, or something like that. So I'd still stand by that possibility. But yeah, imagine if they have absolutely nothing to do with it. Yeah. Imagine that. Imagine that. If Candice went fishing there, I don't know whether Candice would go fishing in this pond. Honestly, it looks pretty rank. I mean, one, she'd have to go up like on private property. So she'd have to have permission because it's right next to the house. You can't just be sitting there. The house is right there. You can't just be sitting there fishing like somebody would see you. So she'd have to have permission. And this pond doesn't look like it stores many fish, honestly. It looks a little bit rank. You don't even know how deep that is. So, no, I don't think that is Candice's fishing pond. I really don't. If that's what people are saying, then you're going to have to provide me some evidence that that's a fishing pond. Because, one, it looks a bit polluted. Two, we don't know how deep it is. And three, Candice would have to have permission from this person who owns this land. So is there any evidence that Candice knows these people? So that would be my answer to that one. I mean, I know Candice likes fishing, but we don't know that she goes fishing there. We don't even know if there's fish in that pond. It might not even be that deep. Look at what's in the driveway of that property on Google Maps on the June 2013 date. June 2013. June 2013. You want me to go back that far? Really? Okay. I'll get Google Earth up. Hold on. I have to stop the share here. And reshare like this. Alrighty. Where are we at? Okay. So we're going what's that? Google Earth Pro would like to control this computer. No, go away. You're not controlling my computer. Stop being weird. Okay. So look what's in the driveway in 2013. Okay. So that is the most recent view. 8/25. So that's August 2025. So you see less in the hollow, presumably because of the land, the growth. We've got 2022. So that's the view that we've been looking at. That's the view that's on Google Maps right now. So that's 2022, where you can see more. because it's November and there's no leaves around. 2019. See, there's no pond there in 2019. So I look. Oh yeah, there's the pond. There's the pond. 2017. 2013. All right. So what am I looking for? See what's on the driveway in 2013. I don't know what I'm looking for, honestly. What am I looking for? All right, I'm going to have to go look at what's in the driveway of that property. The addresses belong to a gang member, Vice Lords. What? No. Come on. Okay. So what am I looking for? What's the breaking news? There isn't any breaking news. Well, the breaking news happened 2 days ago. So we're not here to talk about breaking news. We were here to talk about the fact that I had a video that I made today deleted from YouTube, but they've reinstated it. So that's all good. And now we're just having a general chat about what's happened over the last couple of days. He brought the roof down. Everyone was like, oh my God. He exposed the Vice Lords and the addresses where TBI was at. What channel is this on? I'm not believing this at the moment. Extraordinary claims need extraordinary evidence, because this address that they appear to have been searching, Paul Hill has no criminal record. So how is the address connected to the Vice Lords? I would like to know and understand. Didn't someone say there were some men at the bottom of the road that day? I don't remember that, but there would have been, because there was tree trimmers there. Did they find her? No, not as far as we know. They haven't found Summer, no. Are there any structures, waters, caves, etc.? Yeah, there's loads. So this is from April 2023. We'll go to the most recent view, which is 2025. So this is what it looks like just a couple of months ago. So you've got structure, you've got a house, you've got buildings, you've got vehicles, you've got a pond, you've got woods. I don't know whether there's any caves, but it's a pretty big property. So I don't know how many acres they actually own of this land, but it's a pretty big property. Hey, exposed Don's drug dealer. Okay. What channel was it on? I'll go and watch it. Watched the video earlier today. I thought maybe the tree cutter brother accidentally killed her and covered it up. Maybe it's that simple. Do you know what? It could well be that simple. Do you remember Athena Strand, the little girl from Texas who was run over by the delivery driver delivering Christmas presents? He ran her over, and instead of like fessing up, like didn't kill her or anything, but panicked and took her. And then she said she was going to tell her dad, so he killed her. That's his story. That was the confession that he gave. He told them where the body was, and then he's reneged on the confession, and he's now pleading not guilty. But the trial isn't until next year. The trial was meant to have happened by now. It was meant to happen this year, but it hasn't. So, yeah, it was as simple as that Athena was in the driveway. He accidentally run her over. She probably wasn't even seriously injured, but he panicked. So, yeah, it could really be that simple. I mean, seriously, it could really be that simple that someone panics. I mean, the vast majority of people who, create an accident don't go to extreme measures, but then some do. This is why we have so many hit and runs. Some do. Some people do panic. I mean, the guy who killed my son, he panicked. And it's hilarious because he in running him over, right, he broke his radiator. So there's radiator fluid leaking out of the bottom of his vehicle. So they were able to track his actual path, and he did a U-turn, went right past the body in a U-turn to avoid the CCTV camera, which was at the end of the road. So he knew where the camera was. So he did a U-turn and went the long way back home. But then the idiot didn't bother hiding his vehicle. So we've got this really damaged vehicle sitting there on the side of a road near this guy's house. So the cops come across this damaged vehicle, go and knock on the door, like the nearest door. And this absolute clown says, "I know why you're here." but then pled the fifth. Made a significant statement, but then pled the fifth. He ended up pleading guilty because it was ridiculous, but he panicked. He literally panicked because he was driving without insurance, he was a taxi driver, so he was probably dodging taxis, the tax man. He was driving without insurance. He wasn't licensed as a taxi driver, so he'd just done a taxi run to the airport. So he panicked. You ever thought Don and Candice were involved? Yeah, I mean, look, Don's been a difficult person not to blame. Don's actions have been very suspect, but no, it doesn't mean anything. The fact that he's drunk and he's saying, "I've got 7 alibis, you've got none, you're going down." That kind of nonsense has fed, the YouTube drama up for the last 4 years. No, that wasn't the pond. Again, if this is the pond where Candice goes swimming, fishing, firstly, she'd have to have permission from this landowner because it's private property. It's not a state park or anything like that. This is private property. So there'd have to be proof that she knows this person, Paul Hill, who will give her permission to go fishing. This pond does not look like it sustains much life. It really doesn't. It's not that big. It's probably not that deep. I would imagine there's not that many fish in there. So not a good fishing spot. So people who are saying that this is the pond where Candice goes fishing, I beg to differ. You're going to have to prove that to me. Oh, thank you. Stream early live, he tells all about it. Yeah, I'll go and listen to it first. I'm not going to play it until I've listened to it. Candaline, being a member for 42 months. Yeah, hope they get answers. Yeah. I mean, it's gone on for nearly 4.5 years. We need something. She's doing fine. She's 17 weeks old now. She's due for a walk. I'm surprised she's not whining. We do generally go for a walk about this time. So anyhow, I'm going to go. I only intended this to be very, very quick. And thank you, Melissa, for the $2. That's very kind of you. But yeah, the video's back up, so you can go and watch it. I'll go and root out this Ernie Shell thing and see what's been going on. I appreciate that there's a lot of comments that I haven't got to. But then again, I'm always like that. I'm always like that. Okay, I'm out of here. Thank you all. Thank you for the donations, those that donated. Welcome to the new members. Thanks as always to the mods. And I'll see you very soon. Go and watch my video from this morning before YouTube takes it down again. Bye, guys.